Hello, and welcome to Let's Chat Death, Dying, Funerals, and Grief with me, your host, Anna Bushell. Every month, I will be welcoming a special guest to chat all things death, dying, funerals, and grief. Not the most light-hearted topics I know, but that's the whole point of the conversation, to shine a light on these often seen as taboo topics with a view to hopefully dispel some fears and encourage others to have these chats. For this episode, I am delighted to be welcoming my friend and soul sister from across the channel, Sarah Brown Haté. Bonjour, Sarah.
Bonjour, Anna. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm glad the rest of your sentence was in English because my French at that point might have fallen over. Thank you for joining us, Sarah. So obviously we've known each other for some time and have had a chat about life and everything. So are you okay to talk me through your experience of grief?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I don't know where you want me to start.
Wherever
Um,
feels comfortable.
okay. Um, Grief really hit me 4 years ago when my dad died very suddenly, not necessarily unexpectedly, because he had been diagnosed Alzheimer's a few years before, but he was very young. He was only 75.
Right.
And it was just the sort of the rapidity, if you like, of his decline. And that's when grief really, really hit me like this massive brick wall. And the day he died, I actually got COVID as well, the only time in my life. But so it was just like the whole body, I think, as well, was probably in this, I don't know, response mode, reactive mode, I don't know.
Mm,
So it was just a really, really difficult time for me. And that grief then led me to uncover very many other different forms, types, reasons for grief that I hadn't even realized either I was still holding on to
mm.
or that I actually needed to grieve. Because for me, if it makes sense, before grief was the passing of somebody you love,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Which obviously it is. But in my personal experience, there's a lot more to it than that.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, so in terms of how your own personal self-development, how has that helped you with coping with grief?
So luckily, already I trained to be an emotional freedom technique practitioner years before. So that was helping me actually tap on all of the emotions, the whole sort of tsunami of emotions that was coming up at the time. So that
Mm,
really helped me. Also taking the rescue remedy, which I'm sure some of your listeners will know.
yeah,
So those were two things that they were my go-tos all the time, plus working with a few crystals that really felt, so they were helping me to ground because I needed grounding because
right.
I was just like I felt as though my body, spirit, soul wanted to just go, you know.
Mm,
So I needed that grounding as well. So
yeah,
using those sort of techniques really, really helped me. And also it was being able to, I decided there and then that I needed time and
mm,
realized, I didn't realize right then that I had all these other layers of grief that came probably 18 months afterwards. But at the time, my body was already sort of telling me, you can't just tap emotional freedom technique your way through this. So I
right.
decided that I needed time.
Mm,
And for the first time, I'm going to repeat the word, but it's so important for me because for the first time in my life, A, I actually gave myself that time, and
mm,
B, I actually allowed myself to be vulnerable enough to stop some of the contracts that I had been working on with the same partners for years.
right.
It's no longer felt aligned.
Yeah,
And also be vulnerable enough to tell my husband that, look, I need time out and I don't know how long and I
right,
need you to be able to support me.
right.
And not that there was maybe a doubt in my mind, but it was just I'd never, ever, ever said that because I've
Mm,
always been the one that was holding everything together and whatever. And it was just like, you can't. There was something in me saying, if you carry on the way you've always carried on,
yeah,
at one point you're really going to not necessarily pay for it because yeah, let's go with that, but that's not necessarily the right word, but that's coming through.
Yeah.
You're going to pay for it later. So it was just like, okay. And then the question was, okay, yeah, that's fine, but how long? And I was like, I honestly don't know. It could be a question of days, weeks, months. I don't know. And
Mm,
in the end, that turned into months, maybe not years, but definitely months.
mm,
And it was the real sort of being able to be okay with that. There were days where I wasn't okay with that myself. There was sort of
yeah.
like the wave of grief that was just coming back, didn't want to get out of bed, just crying, just like, what has happened?
Mm,
And then also at the same time, it's like, yeah, but hang on, you have a business to run. You've already said that you can't go back and do certain work, and there was like this little voice kicking in and going, just look at you, what is going on?
mm,
So that for me, in a way, was maybe the most difficult thing. It was me with me, if that makes sense,
right.
at
Yeah.
some points.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very dense time, very relieving as well, to be honest, at the same time. It was, I'll tell you what it was. It was like sort of two like contrasting times at the same time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
that
it
makes
was,
sense.
does it? Because it was just
Yeah.
like so strange for me
Mm,
looking back, even though, I'm very much partisan of, go with the flow, and it is definitely not a straight line, and
yeah.
life will happen and all the rest of it.
Mm,
But actually going through that experience showed me as well how much I'd maybe been in a very large bandwidth, but it wasn't necessarily a flow. It was actually more or less
right. Yeah.
linear, you see. And then this was just literally. And one of the things that also helped me when it was those days that I couldn't get out of bed, just crying and crying and crying, didn't want to eat or anything else, it was like, okay, just get through the day.
Yeah.
Your whole life is today.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, the mindfulness as in let's sit, let's meditate, let's consciously eat. And I'm not knocking any of that because these are things I can do too. But it really was, okay, just imagine that all you need to do is look at today. That is your whole world, that is your whole life. And so ease your way through the day.
Yeah.
That's really, yeah, what helped me for the months.
And the courage in the first place to admit what you needed and to express that to others, where did that courage come from?
I
To
think it
be
was,
able, sorry, go on.
no, 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 I was just going to say, go on.
To be able to, admit that that's what you needed and then tell others that that was what you needed, that you needed that time.
To be honest, looking back, it is courage, but at the time, it didn't feel like that at all. It literally felt like survival.
Right.
And it was like I felt so low and so distraught some days that it was like I couldn't care less what anybody else thinks or says.
Okay.
It was really like that. It was like,
Right.
you know what? If you don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And looking back, for me, that was really liberating as well.
Mm.
Because even if I'd been on a personal development journey for probably, yeah, for the 20 years leading up to my father's
Yeah.
death, but that I think it was really probably looking back and just literally now talking to you about it, it was like, okay, now you put into practice all of the things that you've actually been working on.
Mm.
But this is now, right? So are you actually going to be able to say, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says about you?
Mm. And how do you think, obviously, because you've done a lot of self-development and things over the years to kind of enable you to get to that point, in your darkest moment, to have that sort of light switch almost to be flick it on and say, this is what I need and this is what I'm going to do. But many folk don't have that, do they? And how if you've not got that self-development, that self-awareness, and like practiced a lot of tools and things, how do you get to that point?
Wow. Um, okay. I think there may be two parts to your question. Okay. If you are currently grieving, it this is what I personally feel, okay? If you're currently grieving, it may be difficult to actually get to that point because
Mm,
you're already in the grief. So
yeah,
if this is you and you are currently grieving, I really encourage you to do what I did, the 24-hour window,
yeah,
as much as possible. And every day when you wake up, it's what do I need now?
yeah.
Not in an hour's time, or I need to take the dog for a walk or whatever. That's not your need. It's
Mm,
you. What do
mm,
you need? Is it to have your favorite cup of tea? Is it
mm,
to have a hot shower? Is it to phone your best friend and just cry?
mm,
Is it to read a book? Whatever it is.
mm,
And please make time for that, even if you are not able to actually just literally step back from your life, which I feel is what I did. But at
mm.
least try and incorporate those little pockets of what do
Yeah,
I need now?
yeah. That's such good advice because when you're going through bereavement, your head's are shared. It doesn't think straight. Your brain just goes into kind of safety mode almost, and actually thinking beyond, too far does become
Mm.
overwhelm and paralyzes you.
Yeah, I mean, we had this because Dad's death has taught me so much about me and what I would like in the future and everything else. And one of the
Mm,
things that I am definitely going to do, I've already spoken about it to my husband and children. I haven't actually written it yet, but I don't know the exact word for it, but it's more or less like, a death plan.
yep,
Because
yep.
when Dad died, there was my brother and myself. We had no idea. We'd never talked about it. He hadn't left any instructions. And so we had that to deal with on top of everything else. I mean, we did it, but like
Mm,
you say, it's all this overwhelm, it's all this future planning, it's all of these things. I mean, the amount of people that you need to contact, for example, is just
yeah,
like, wow.
yeah.
And
Crazy.
some of them need a document from somebody else, but you can't get it because you haven't done this. It was just like, an administrative nightmare.
Yeah.
And that's, the sort of the practical side of things, right?
Mm,
So,
mm.
um, I can't remember what
We were
your
talking
question.
about you've created a death plan.
Yes, but before that, yeah, talking about the overwhelm, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, how important it is, definitely.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, just coming back to your needs,
Mm,
even if, you need to look after other people and whatever, and you maybe have a business, you maybe have, your job or just your life, but it is this. And so it's being able to, yeah, to really just, if possible, feel into what is actually going on as well inside of you. Now, a lot of us haven't been trained to do this either.
yeah.
And this is valid now for whether or not you're grieving right now.
Okay.
A great thing to do, if you can do it only once a day, it's like, for example, when you wake up in the morning, okay?
Mm,
So you're lying in bed, or you can sit in bed, it doesn't matter. But the idea is to not even move your body too much. And it's to just like what I like doing is place one hand over your heart space, one
yeah.
hand on your belly just to make that connection,
Hmm.
eyes closed or not. But it's just taking a couple of breaths and like listening. Well, when I say listening, it's feeling into what your body
Mm,
feels like. Is there any tension? If there's tension, where is it? What can I do for that tension? Is it just because I'm sitting awkwardly? And if necessary, just like, move your body a little bit.
I am going to. Yeah.
But also, one thing that I learned, and this in a way has nothing to do with what we're actually talking about right now, but it really helped me so much. Nearly 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with a massive slip disc at the base of my spine, which was actually paralyzing my right leg. And the
Ouch.
verdict was that you need to get into hospital ASAP and have that removed. And my whole body froze and was like, you're not having that done.
Right.
So to cut a very long story short, I didn't have surgery, and not just on my own, but I helped my body heal with the help of other practitioners. And
Mm,
one of the things that one of the practitioners told me was to visualize where the slip disc was and to
mm,
send it love. And what I actually did was I said love, I visualized it, and then I just said out loud to myself, to the slip disc, love, love, and
right.
actually felt it getting smaller and disintegrating. Now, this happened over weeks and months. It didn't just, disappear
Yeah.
like that. So that is another thing as well. Feel into your body. Where can you send it love? If you feel some
Mm,
tension somewhere,
mm,
just send it love. And if that feels really strange to you, because it may well do, just
mm,
say the word love out loud
yeah.
and just imagine that that word is going to the part of your body that
Mm,
needs love. And
yeah.
that can also help, obviously, through the grieving process too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose that's a really sort of subtle yet powerful way to send yourself self-love when at that moment in time you are just feeling completely broken. So you're sending yourself compassion, which allows you to be kinder to yourself and not beat yourself up because you're not doing the things you feel that need to be done. And actually, you're giving yourself that love, space, and compassion to go experience all that feelings of grief and bereavement and loss, which it's not nice. There's nothing pleasant about it, but actually fundamentally it's really an important part of the grief and bereavement that we go through, because as we know, if we keep that within our bodies, at some point later on in our life that's going to bite us on the bum physically.
Yeah,
It's going to manifest itself somewhere.
yeah,
And that's not just spiritual talk. That is scientific evidence based proof that people, if they don't deal with their grief and process their emotions, and keep it locked in, it can manifest itself physically
yeah.
later. um in it's having the courage and bravery to be able to say, right, this hurts like hell, and I'm going to sit with it.
Mm,
I'm going to take the time to sit with it like you did,
yeah.
and not overwhelm yourself with, well, I've got to do this, I should be doing that, or the dog needs a walk, when actually, right at this moment, what I need is my favorite cup of tea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's so powerful, Sarah. So powerful. So, like you've mentioned about this death plan that you've got, that you've done. I'm this is why we're soul sisters, because I'm so with you on this one. So would you be happy to share with me, like, what's in this death plan, what it kind of consists of, what have you kind of got in it?
It isn't finalized in any way, shape, or form. But for example, we didn't even know whether our dad wanted to be buried, cremated, whatever. So I have been very clear about that. I've said, and it was quite strange because I actually sort of set the scene. We were having a family lunch, and I said, I need to talk to you all about this, and I want you all to be here just so you all hear the same thing. And I said, there's nothing morbid about what I'm going to say, but I feel we need to discuss it because it's part of life. So I said, I want to be cremated
Right.
and I want my ashes to be planted with a sapling, because I think you can actually have your ashes put
Yeah.
into a pot with a
Yeah.
sapling. I said, I don't yet know where I want that tree to be planted, and I may actually leave that up to you, but that's what I want. From a physical
That's
point of
lovely.
view, that's what I want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Probably will be an oak tree simply because oak has always been very sort of, the tree that really speaks to me on many, many different levels. But we'll
Yes.
see when the time comes. But at least that is there as well.
Yeah.
And I've started to think about the music that I would like.
Yeah.
Um, People listening and watching, please, understand where this is coming from. I want it to be really upbeat.
Yeah.
I do
I'm
want it to be
smiling because everything you are saying, I'm in, yeah, that's what I want too.
I would like it to be a celebration of life.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
will be grieving, there will be tears, there will be dense emotions, of course.
yeah.
But what I would like people to feel is like sort of happy sad, so that they're laughing
Yes,
through the tears type thing,
yes,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Because tears and laughter are both of them are such a release, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they're both, you know, we cry with laughter, don't we?
Well, exactly, exactly. You know?
So yeah, and that, yeah, that kind of thing of thinking that, well, we shouldn't be laughing, it's not appropriate, we should be mournful and respectful, but life's not like that, is it? You know, and if you weren't that kind of person, if you were someone who, you know, like for me, I don't take myself seriously, and I, you know, I'm very, can be very silly and daft, and I kind of think, well, you know, I want it, I want some laughter, you know, and singing and dancing. And it's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
actually moving your body and singing together with people, it's such a communal thing to do.
Mm.
Yeah, that I think that is actually way more powerful and way more beneficial. It's just we've got to kind of cut through that reservedness of,
Yes.
can we actually do it? Does it feel comfortable to do it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I mean, I was just going to say, obviously, we won't know who's there. Maybe we will. You know, maybe once
Yeah.
our physical body's no longer here, maybe we can still actually see the people. That's something I do like to believe. But anyway,
Yeah, me
another
too.
story for another day. But
Yes.
but what I would like the whole ceremony to be. I know I'm focusing a lot more on the ceremony rather than the whole plan, to be honest, but what I would like the ceremony to be is similar to what we did in the end for our dad, which was we got together some of the most sort of representative photos of his life.
Yeah.
And then while they were showing, there was his favorite music playing, which was
Yeah.
so emotional. But at the same
Mm.
time, it was, you know, everybody said afterwards, oh my goodness, that was so lovely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's things like that to really, as I said before, to celebrate. And
Yeah.
we had a celebrant who was a lovely man, and it was just really, for me, I feel that that is so important because, as you know, you get to
Mm.
know the family, you talk to them, you ask them questions, and you actually sort of co-create that as
Yeah.
well. And
Yeah.
that for me is a really, really big part. So I'm going off slightly at a tangent now, but so for my ceremony, that was what I would, you know, what I would
Mm.
like to have. And I haven't got the detailed list yet, but I would also go through my stuff and say, you know, this I would like that to go to whoever or whatever, and to, you know, to really sort of map most of it out if
Yeah.
possible, so that
Yeah.
they're not left thinking, well, what would mum would wanted, you know, she's got like, I don't know, her favorite crystals. Who would she want to give those to? Do we just like return them to the earth? Do we
Mm.
give them to somebody? Do we sell them? Do you know what I mean? It's just
Mm.
because luckily dad didn't have many possessions by the time he passed away, but even that I took it upon myself, apart from anything else, because I'm the eldest and I felt that I needed to do that to really reconnect to him through the
Yeah.
grieving process.
Yeah.
So I took it upon myself to go through all of his house and to clean it and to
Mm.
sort through, you know, throw things away, but sort through.
Yeah.
And even the few well, not few, because he did have quite a few, but you know what I mean? It wasn't a
Yeah.
massive house. But even the few possessions he had, it was just like sometimes, oh my goodness, well, I know that's an antique, but where did it come from? Who would he have wanted it to
Mm.
go to? Like I've just said, you know, do we give it
Yeah.
away? Do we sell it? Do we keep it? And all of
Yeah.
these questions, and that sort of added on. So then I'm talking to my brother and said, look, I found this. What do we do? And it's just like looking back, if we could have spent that time differently,
Yeah.
that may or may not have helped,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah.
But so it's just, I think, for me, it's just being crystal clear, which I always have been anyway about most things in my life, but so that, you know, as I said, my husband and my children, they know exactly what I
Mm.
would like to happen with, you know, myself, my body, and
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
else. Really, really important. Really important.
So tell me, have you made a decision on which songs or music you would like. Is there, have you?
Well, my favorite group is Depeche Mode, and so there's still a part of me thinking, would that be appropriate? So, one of their songs is called Home.
Oh,
Yes.
mm,
So, because a lot of the Depeche Mode songs are quite sort of rock, and some of them are
mm,
quite controversial. When you listen to, one of the things I love about them is the controversial lyrics because they do call
okay,
out a lot of what's going on in society.
right,
But this song, Home, it's more of a ballad type for a start.
yeah,
And it's an absolutely beautiful song. So,
mm.
yeah, and I'm going all goosebumpy. So I think, yeah, so Home
Oh,
will be
that's
in there.
right, excellent, excellent. My mine are mine's Queen. Don't Stop Me Now. I'm having such a good time. Because I mean, I absolutely love that song anyway.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
just the irony of it. I think people who work in the funeral industry, we kind of can be a bit laughy jokey sometimes about these things.
yeah,
I think we need a sense of humor
yeah.
to be able to manage the weight of what we're dealing with. But the other thing as
Mm.
well is I love ABBA, Dancing Queen, and I'd want everybody to get up and just dance to it and not care.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, so knowing what you know now and faced with potential bereavement in the future that we're all gonna deal with or come face to face with, do you feel more confident in yourself now that you'll be able to deal with it, handle it?
It's interesting you use the word confidence because I wouldn't necessarily use that word myself.
Mm, yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I don't know if the word confident will come into it. But now I've actually gone through it like that, needed to organize everything with the help of my brother, of course, but it was like
Mm,
left to the two of us.
yeah.
Yeah, I would, yeah. If I needed to maybe support somebody, friend,
Mm,
relative who was going through that and who really
mm,
didn't have a clue, then I know now, the different steps and how to take it and whatever. So
mm.
yeah, my
And
outlook on all of that has definitely shifted for sure. So
yeah. And
yeah,
do you think you would the taking the time, being able to say to people, right, I need time to process it. Well, not process, you don't process
yeah.
grief, do you? You never
No.
get over it, but to give myself some time and space, I'd imagine that will come to you more easily.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I've actually done it, I said at the beginning, that grief showed me all of the compounded grief that I hadn't even realized I was still carrying.
Yeah.
2025, as you know, was a massive year for us. Turned our lives upside down, put it that way. So that for me is also a type of grief,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we're giving ourselves the time and space.
Mm. So
And
you're
a
actively doing
lot
it now.
And a lot of people don't understand.
Mm.
And a lot of people, and I can see it now, but obviously, in a way, it's not a death, okay? But they're like, so what do you do with your days? So what are you going to do afterwards?
Mm.
And I can totally understand it.
Mm.
But what they can't well, not cope with, but what they can't understand is that when we say, well, I don't know what we're going to do afterwards.
Mm.
Right now, this is where we are and what we're doing.
Mm.
And what do we do with our days? Well, it depends on the day,
Yeah.
depends on the
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah.
It really is. And
Yeah.
so, on the other hand, I'm conscious of not slipping into the it doesn't matter and we'll just see and we'll just sort of drift because I can feel that too, that sometimes, there is that not necessarily danger, but there may be a tendency to sort of stay. I think that's what it is, yeah. If possible as well, realize when maybe you're sort of tending to stay in a particular space
Yeah.
um, because it feels comfortable, and that's
Yeah.
great. But yeah, try not to get maybe too comfortable either.
Mm.
You know,
Not
on the
getting
days
stuck in
where,
there.
yeah,
Mm.
on the days where you feel more energy, when you feel maybe, I was going to say less bereaved, but yeah, okay, let's go with that. When you feel slightly different on those days, yeah, still keep saying, what do I need? But maybe, start to think about what could I do tomorrow or what,
Mm.
and try and sort of future pace or
Mm.
visualize something
Mm.
so that you're not actually then stuck in the, oh yeah, this is lovely because I wake up and I have my favorite cup of tea and then I take the dog for a walk and then I phone my friend.
Mm.
If that's what you need and that's all you're capable of, fine.
Mm.
But if you feel that you've actually got energy and space for something new and something more,
Mm.
do that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what we're sort of currently navigating right now.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
mm.
It's been, as always, absolutely fascinating and insightful and inspiring chatting with you, Sarah. I know that we could talk for hours on end and have a tendency to do so and have to restrict ourselves. It's quite a good job you live in France, really, because if we were neighbours, we'd we'd just be nattering away non-stop.
We would.
Oh dear. So thank you for sharing and and being honest with everything that you've gone through and all your experiences and there's so many golden nuggets in there that you've shared that I'm sure will be a massive help to people when they listen to this. So yeah, thank you for that, Sarah. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And yeah, as always, I really do hope there's at least one thing in there for somebody
Yeah,
that can
yeah.
make a difference. Then yeah.
Well, I'm not going through bereavement or grief, but I know that it will come at some point, and you've already given me tools that I know are going to benefit me when that time comes. So, you've helped me. So,
So
yeah,
mission accomplished then.
yes, exactly. Tick. Yeah. Right, Sarah, thank you for your time once again.
Thank you, Anna. It's been lovely.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Bushell, and you have been watching Let's Chat Death, Dying, Funerals, and Grief. Until next time, take care and see you soon.